Hey, Mount Juliet, and good evening. Just wanted to come live to you this evening to update you on the winter storm that is headed our way, with a winter storm warning going into effect tonight at midnight. And just wanted to update you on what we expect our impacts to be here, some safety tips, and what we're doing as a police department and as a city to keep our community safe. Of course, earlier this week, the Weather Service began to update us that we needed to be prepared for something this weekend. Of course, the different forecasts have been all over the place. We've seen it started with a lot of snow, and now it seems like it's going to be a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Of course, I don't want to see the freezing rain because that's going to be something we haven't experienced in a long time with that, and those lead to other impacts that are concerning, but just hopeful. Maybe we'll just get all snow and it'll be a nice time for everyone just to go out and enjoy the winter weather, and maybe it'll all clear up by the time the work week comes around through the weekend. But from what we're seeing from the forecast, it is something that we need to pay attention to, and we are likely going to see impacts this weekend and into next week. And let's just look at that and see what it looks like for our community. Of course, if you have a question with any of these live updates, just type those in the comments and be glad to get back with you. But there's 76 of you watching this live now. And of course, more will watch it live, or actually when it's done recorded and on our different social medias, we'll watch it later as well. But with the impacts, we expect ice accumulation 1/2 inch to nearly 1 inch. Of course, when you have that type of ice accumulation, with the freezing rain, you can see down trees and power lines, and that causes outages with the power, but also the trees can block the different roads out there. Travel, we expect travel to become hazardous on Saturday morning and remain hazardous through the next week. And additional vehicles to access those difficult areas are needed from our end, because with the ice and the snow that's expected, your normal vehicles just don't access those areas as easily. And we're prepared here at the department, so is our fire department, to use those different vehicles to access the hazardous roads through the weekend and into next week. And of course, it's going to be cold. We're going to remain below freezing for several days, with wind chills dipping near -5 on Monday and Tuesday morning. So if you're out and about, be careful. If you do have to be outside during that cold, know that hypothermia can occur quickly in those conditions. So to bundle up and don't expose yourself to those conditions for a long time. With the timeline, Saturday morning, the snow begins around 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for our area. It will be heavy at times with rapid accumulation and quickly deteriorating road conditions. So we expect roads to get hazardous Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon and evening, it's going to transition to sleet and freezing rain, and the accumulation will continue regardless the type that falls, right? So the freezing rain, that's a concern because it sticks on things. Definitely the road, right? But it's going to stick on power lines and trees. And if there's any kind of wind, or if that accumulation is more than what is expected, it could lead to those power outages, those down power lines, those down tree limbs, those down trees, which could begin to block roadways. Saturday night into early Sunday, it's going to be mainly sleet, a mix, and freezing rain with ice buildup continuing. And then Sunday morning to the afternoon, uncertainty remains still, but temps may briefly rise above freezing before dipping back down again. But the Weather Service expects it to return to freezing rain or possibly sleet snow mix as the system exits Sunday morning to the afternoon. And then it just continues to get cold throughout the week, and it doesn't get above freezing till, I believe, Saturday. So it's going to remain cold. And of course, once the roads become hazardous, they're going to stay hazardous for a bit. Looking at the status report with our police department, we've been looking at this weather system since Monday. Monday, I met with our leadership teams just to look over our contingency plans for winter weather to ensure that we were prepared. All of our equipment was ready to go. Our generators here at police headquarters were operational, were ready to go, including all of our different connectivity in our systems. From our radio tower sites to our ATVs to the police vehicles that we drive every day to our staffing. With me, I want to ensure that we are prepared and squared away for what we could expect. And we have to plan for the worst, which I hope we don't see the worst. But if we do, we're still going to be able to respond. We're still going to be able to patrol. We're still going to be able to protect this community and answer those calls for service. With the new headquarters that we are in, we are more prepared than we have ever been with a winter storm coming our way, or really any natural disaster. This building is supported by two different generator systems, a primary and a backup, to keep this building running during times of disaster, such if we lose power. And all the other redundant systems that support us here are working, and we expect them to work as well should we see any outages with the different redundant backup systems that we have. So we're prepared to continue to respond, prepared to continue to answer your call, and prepared to continue to ensure resources are deployed effectively throughout our community. Our fire and EMS, they have additional crews on standby. They also have additional vehicles to access those difficult areas. We, of course, as a police department, handle the police, fire, and EMS dispatching, the medical instructions that our dispatchers give to those who may need help. We handle all of that in-house through our advanced response communication center, which is, again, all supported by the different systems that support us here at headquarters. And Public Works, they have been working extremely hard. I was able to meet with them and our city management this morning. We all met again just to ensure all of our plans were in place, to ensure we could still communicate, to ensure we could all still respond, and with different needs that may or may not come up within the city during this weather event. But they've been brining and pre-treating the roads. That's been going on since Thursday. And throughout the event, they'll have 6 snow response vehicles running the different routes throughout the city. Now, they can't hit every street because they need to ensure the main roads through neighborhoods and such throughout the community are hit first with the snow plows, simply because we have to ensure emergency response is a priority. With any winter storm, with any disaster, life doesn't just stop. We still have medical emergencies to respond to. There are still law enforcement incidents that we have to respond to, and we have to ensure people are safe, but also ensure life safety in itself remains a priority. And just grateful for them. Our city has really invested a lot in the pre-treatment, but also the snow removal. For a city our size, for us to have 6 vehicles out there and treating our roads and then further clearing our roads during the event, it's wonderful to have. And I'm grateful to know that they will be working around the clock to do whatever they can to keep these roads clear. Of course, if it gets too cold, the salt, even the scraping, the plowing just doesn't work on ice that well. So they're going to do their best, right? But just know that there's not a magic wand you can wave across these roads to clear them up quickly. It all depends on the sunlight. It depends on the temperature, but it definitely is not going to be the fault of our teams or our crews out there working, because they're going to be working hard. But it's hopeful throughout the event we eventually get some sunlight to heat up those roads to lead to better clearing as the event develops throughout. Just want to encourage you, don't crowd the plow. Of course, when the roads are hazardous, we're going to encourage everyone to stay home. We'll be communicating that on social media in our MJ Alert text system. But when that plow is out there, don't crowd the plow. There was years past where we had a snow event and cars were driving recklessly, speeding past the plows that were working, and that is just dangerous for everyone. TDOT will be out there focused on the interstates and our state roads like Lebanon Road, Central Pike, and Mount Juliet Road. And our city public works crews will also be focused on Mount Juliet Road and Lebanon Road and main roads throughout our community, those main neighborhood streets. But if you see them out working, just leave them plenty of room. Let them do their job. It's going to be very slick, especially if we get the freezing rain that is forecasted. And we want you to stay home and not get out and drive unless you have to. But if you do have to get out and about, stay clear of those snow plows and let those men and women do their job, because all they're doing is just working for all of us to try to get those roads back to some normalcy so we can get out and about and enjoy our lives once this event wraps up. MJ Alert, if you're not signed up for this, it's the text alert system that we use here. It's our first go-to platform in any emergency where we can send these alerts out in the field. I can send an alert out if I need to. Our communications center can send an alert out if they need to, but sign up. All you have to do is text the letters MJ to the phone number 67283, and you're registered for that system. Now, sometimes it can be confusing when we send the alerts out because they send alerts through different phone numbers. It's a throttling feature to ensure that text message goes out to the 60,000 people and phones who are registered on this system all at once. So it sends the message out on different numbers. There's a way to deal with that. You basically make a contact in your phone for MJ Alert and just add those different phone numbers to that contact. So when you look at your text message feed, it all looks like it's coming from one phone number. So that's a tip for you to consolidate all those different numbers under one contact to make it just easier to read and follow chronologically as we send those alerts out. And don't forget your pets. You know, it's cold for them too. If we're cold, they are cold as well. So just ensure that they are taken care of. If there is any pet out there who you feel is not being taken care of and left out in the elements without proper shelter, food or water or warmth, please just call us. Our animal control teams will be working as well, and they can respond to these different reports to ensure that the animal, the pet, is taken care of. And if you're out driving, you know, with the ice and snow, you have to take it slow and definitely clean off all the different ice and snowpack on your vehicle before you get on the road, because that just becomes a projectile that can fly off as you begin to get speed. You want to keep it slow. Don't use the cruise control. If you have to brake, obviously don't brake rapidly. Take slow, smooth movements as you're steering, and that will just help you kind of slide or glide across the ice, right? And definitely leave extra distance between vehicles, especially far from those snow plows. And don't forget about your neighbors. You know, this is a cold event. If we lose power, there are elderly neighbors you may have. You may have neighbors in less than fortunate situations. If you feel anyone is out there who needs our assistance, who needs help, who needs warmth, who needs medical care, who just needs us to go and check on them to ensure they have all these things, please call our communication center. We will send an officer out to check on them. And if they need resources, we have connections to many different organizations to get them the resources that they need. I don't want to see anyone in our community go without heat. I don't want to see anyone in our community cold. If it gets to a situation where someone is lacking food, any of those things, reach out to us. We have great partnerships, great resources, great connections through our police department, and we're going to ensure people are taken care of in this city throughout this winter weather event. Of course, we don't know really what to expect. We have a forecast. That forecast has changed ever since it first came out as they continue to tighten and look at the different models of what we may experience, right? And we talked about that earlier on in this live update about what we could experience. But really, there are going to be winter weather impacts this weekend and into next week. The roads will get hazardous. We're going to let you know once we start to see them start to deteriorate. We hope you don't get out. We hope you're able to stay home. Of course, we know, just like us and our police officers, our dispatchers, our first responders, those in medical, those who just kind of keep the basic necessities of society running, we know you're going to have to get to work. And that's why we're going to have our public works crews out there treating the roads and plowing the roads. The state out there is doing it as well. It's all hands on deck to ensure that we're able to respond effectively. We're able to still continue to protect our community throughout this event. Of course, myself, I'll be working around the clock when I can, probably getting a little bit of sleep throughout this event, but that's why I'm here. Our whole team, whole leadership team, there will be a command leadership presence on duty at every hour of this event to ensure that our response is adequate and quick, and ensure everyone in our community is taken care of. And of course, if we need more assistance through other groups like the state, we're in close contact with them as well to reach out to them if we need anything further that we can't handle with the resources and equipment that we have here. But I'm confident we are well prepared for this event, and we're going to continue to keep you updated throughout the event about what we are experiencing locally in our city with different calls for service, with different hazards and incidents that develop throughout this winter weather event. And we'll continue to keep you updated from photos, from video updates on social media, And when I have a moment, I will jump on live here and provide you a update about what I've seen and with the different calls for service and how we are handling it. But ultimately, our community, we are in this together, and we're obviously going to get through this. It may be a little difficult at times. We may get bored and stuck at home at times, and we have to be safe. We have to be smart. And if you can, stay home and do not get out once the roads deteriorate. And check on your neighbors, check on your friends and family to ensure that they're taken care of as well. And again, if you think there's anyone out there who needs our assistance, please just call us and let us know. We're going to go and check on them. But love to take comments during these live updates. If you have any comments, please just reach out, type those in, and I'll be glad to answer any question that you have. I see Donna here. She piping in saying, please stay home if you can. Donna, that's good advice. If we have the severe impacts that they're expecting, and really appreciate Connie here. God bless all of our police officers and K-9 and their families. Thank you for your service, and please stay safe. Thank you to all the firefighters and EMS, plus our snowplows. Thank you for your service, sending prayers to all of you. Thank you for that. That's one thing, is our staff will certainly be out in these elements, and that's why we just want everyone to be safe. And we know if there are less people out and about, there are less incidents we have to respond to. And with less incidents, that allows us to respond to the most important emergencies in our community. But our staff is on standby. We work 12-hour shifts with our patrol staff levels and all of our different units. So it's very easy for us to ramp up our staff levels if we need to. The shift that is off basically reports to duty, and everyone begins to work 12-hour shifts. We can move to 16-hour if we need to, as well as we continue to increase staff level, and our staff just doesn't have any days off, because we ultimately want to ensure that our response remains strong and that we are proactive in our response, but also continue to keep the city safe and our community safe as well. All right, folks, we'll see how it goes. Again, Saturday morning, we should begin to see impacts in our community. Please stay safe. Please reach out if you need anything. We're here for you. We're going to get through this together. And as always, it's a pleasure and honor to serve Mount Juliet. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.